Hello again, I am Blunty. Now, I've been working on a video for a couple of hours today, and I've just had to change tack because I stumbled across something that sort of made the whole discussion far more interesting, but we're still going to use it as a kicking off point, but I'm not going to talk about it in the way I was originally planning to talk about it, which is pretty good, because what I was going to talk about is one of Asmongold's reaction videos. Just for a little context here, I watch a fair amount of Asmongold's stuff. I don't watch everything he's ever done, but I'm subscribed, and when something catches my eye, I'll click on it to hear what he has to say about it, because it often is an interesting viewpoint. Even if I don't share it, he usually expresses it in an interesting way. Being who he is and being in the space that he is, it's usually a semi-deliberately provocative point of view, or at least expressed in a provocative way, which is part of why he's so successful, because people respond to that. But this video of his that caught my eye this morning was titled "Gamers Are Getting Dumber, Study Finds." And so he was reacting to, I don't think it was a video, it was literally a study webpage he came across that was talking about the proclivities of gamers when it comes to strategic type games that make you think and plan and think strategically. But right off the bat, Asmongold was using this video to say, hey, gamers are getting dumber because they don't want to play strategy games anymore. And I'm like, that's not a fair thing to say. That's correlation is not causation kind of deal. That just because one particular genre of game is getting less popular doesn't mean that because those games require strategy, gamers in general are getting dumber and they're not playing those because they're too hard. That's a really stupid bow to draw, a really dumb conclusion. And it made me really frustrated, which is what I was going to make the video about, that frustration and Asmongold's attitude towards it and the angle he decided to latch onto for it. Because I struggled to believe that if he had sort of time to think about this instead of reacting to it cold, he wouldn't have come to this same conclusion, because I looked at the source material he was looking at and went, that's not what it says. It doesn't say gamers are getting dumber. It just says this particular type of game is getting less popular, which it has been for quite some time, as evidenced by the fact there are far fewer of these types of strategy games than there used to be. But then when I was looking up something else, something Minecraft related, believe it or not, because Minecraft's 15th anniversary is happening at the moment, and I'm thinking about whether or not I want to stream it again just to celebrate that. It's a whole different thing. But in the Google search for Minecraft and some other keyword, I stumbled across something that was published yesterday by Fandom. It's their Inside Gaming report for this year. They do these sort of once a year based on sort of the data they get from people using the various wikis and stuff, and a survey that they do of a few thousand gamers as well. And this kind of plays into what Asmongold was talking about, or more specifically plays into the angle that I was going to come at it from. And it's not that gamers are getting dumber, it's just gamers are changing. Like the types of stuff gamers are choosing to play and why they are choosing to play it. Those attitudes are changing. And maybe Asmongold is just getting a bit old and shaking fist at clouds and going, I don't understand kids these days kind of deal. That said, I am older than he is, so let's look at the survey results, an article here. The study provides new insights into how brands can authentically engage with gamers. This is the kind of angle they're coming at it from an advertising branding kind of angle. So it's some odd language choices and odd framing of some of this data, but it's the data we're interested in here. So gaming's exploded over the past decade. I think you'll find it's exploded over the last 4 decades, continually growing. Moment of silence to pay our respects to Nintendo for rescuing the industry when they did, because gaming might not have be where it is without them coming to the rescue of the entire industry back in the day. One of the most dynamic and expansive industries across the globe, Fan of the world's largest fan platform, dives into the heart of gaming community to uncover the evolving motivations behind why people game in its 4th annual Inside Gaming Report. The 2024 Inside Gaming Report, a proprietary study compiled with Fandom's first-party data from its 350 million monthly unique visitors, 45 million pages of content, and 250,000 fan-powered wikis. Captures a noticeable shift. Gaming is increasingly seen as a means for personal expression, exploring one's identity, and providing empowerment and confidence in one's real life. Key findings. Dominant gaming motivations. Now, this speaks to what Asmongold was coming at and the conclusion he was jumping to, just leaping to. While stress relief remains the top reason for people to turn to games, a striking 46% of gamers list creation, imagination, and self-expression as their main motivations for gaming, up 10% from their last year's survey. So, is it that gamers are getting dumber because they don't want to play strategy games anymore? Or is it that gamers as a culture in general are embracing gaming in a different way. See, it was Asmongold's frame of mind that, well, people play games to problem solve, to think through things and solve puzzles and things like that. And sure, some gamers do that. There are plenty of games out that accommodate that kind of thinking. They're not all strategy games, though, which is what he was kind of stuck on, because that was the data he was looking at. Fewer and fewer people are playing that specific kind of game. Influence on gaming habits. People who are gaming for self-expression, creation, and imagination are 30% more likely to increase their gaming time, feeling more drawn to the gaming world than ever before. So, with these games that more and more people are engaging in for personal expression and things like that, they are engaging more with those games for longer as well. Games driving self-expression. 60% of gamers claim that self-expression through gameplay is more important to them than ever before. Titles like Minecraft, Fortnite, Roblox lead in enabling personal expression through extensive customization options, open world exploration, and other game updates. Exploring gamer identity. The report also highlights a significant gap between players' in-game identities versus their real-life personas, with 80% of respondents feeling their gaming identity differs from their real-life identity. Now, as far as I'm aware, that's nothing really new. A lot of gaming involves role-playing, but a lot of gaming these days, and especially in, as they were alluding to in the opening of this, the last 10 years or so, the amount of online gaming of all walks of life, not just the old school MMOs and stuff anymore, but many, many more varied and wildly varied kinds of gaming have become online spaces that weren't previously online spaces. And that has, of course, a knock-on effect of more people acting in ways they want to be perceived, because there is that separation with the screen and the keyboard and even the mic. The people you interact with online in games are not always a direct reflection or a sort of one-to-one reflection, at least, of the person sitting on the other side. This has its good side and bad side. A lot of people are way more aggressive and abusive in these online games than they would ever be in real life, because in real life you suffer the very real possibility of getting smacked in the gob if you're a shithead to somebody. But it's also in all aspects of personality as well, and anyone from the queer community, particularly if you speak to people who engage in hyper-immersive gaming or gaming adjacent kind of things like VR chat, for example, you'll meet more people in VR chat that are exploring their personal identity, whether that be their gender, their sexuality, any aspect of their personal identity, and who and what they are and who and what they want to be. That whole community is powerfully driven by that, because of the full body immersion that gives you. You can not only interact how you want to interact, act how you want to interact, you can look how you want to look, and embody that directly because of VR's, first-person immersion. But that, of course, carries over to all games that allow you to pilot around an avatar of some kind. This specifically is true of 18 to 34-year-olds, says the survey data here, which also makes sense because it's that age window where people spend most time figuring out who and what they want to be. So this is the bit where they start talking about how to market towards this kind of audience change and growth. Self-expression is a key driver for gaming engagement. In fact, 32% of gamers want their physical appearance to be more like their in-game appearance. Now, this kind of stuff speaks to what the loudmouth minority would call woke stuff, when you have more options in your character creators as far as skin tones and haircuts and gender, and whether or not the pronouns match the physical body shape and all that kind of stuff that they get really, really mad about. Turns out more and more people want that. They appreciate that. And far more people than you might expect create brand safe spaces. 64% believe that gaming communities are vital safe spaces where they can truly be themselves, presenting opportunities for brands to foster and cater to these communities. So again, this woke stuff, 64% of people out there want their gaming spaces where they can be who they want to be, where they can truly feel themselves. That's 64% of gamers who believe these spaces are vital to help keep safe so they can truly just be themselves, because they don't feel like they can do that in their real life quite as easily or quite as safely. From character customization to cosplay and content creation, video games have empowered gamers to explore, express, enhance their identity. Nearly 2/3 of gamers claim it's easier to be themselves with a controller in their hands, said Stephanie Freed, CMO of Fandom. With the growing significance of gaming as a means for self-expression and personal evolution, it is crucial for brands to connect to these motivators to help players bring their gaming personas to life in the real world. So that was that. The methodology is Fandom surveyed 5,000 entertainment and gaming fans globally to understand their ever-changing entertainment landscape. The insights from the study were joined with a proprietary insight from Fandom's first-party platform data over 350 million users. So it's a fairly big sample size, 5,000 people, users of their platform, presumably, because that's whose email addresses they would have, and whatever data they've scraped from how people engage with the site in the first place, the kind of pages that get the most hits. Which gaming wikis are the more popular gaming wikis, which pages in those gaming wikis are the most popular, so they can pull a lot of data regarding how people engage with the games from that and what is more important to them from that. So no, I don't think that gamers are getting dumber just because they're engaging less with a specific genre of game, a specific strategy type of game. That type of game has always been a fairly niche type of game. It's a PC gamer specific thing, very, very largely. That type of strategy game has always been way stronger on PCs than anything else, just because of the way you can control it with a mouse and keyboard. Have you ever tried to play one of those strategy games, like top-down strategy games with a controller? It's freaking awful. But as gaming has expanded its scope in all directions, and as online has become stronger and stronger, and as communities have become more and more connected and more consistently connected, we're spending way more time online, and of that online time we're spending more time in these types of games. And a lot of these types of games, people don't actually play them that much. They use them as social hangouts. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to pull out from that, is just because strategy games are getting less popular doesn't mean gamers are getting dumber. The gamers might be getting dumber. It's not because they're spending less time playing strategy games. It's just gamer as a culture is expanding and growing and encompassing more and more different types of people. Whereas, 20 years ago, it was fairly heavily skewed towards blokes like me, just Gen X, white males, that kind of thing. And the types of games being made were heavily, marketed towards us. But these days, we're getting more and more broad in the types of things that are being made, who they appeal to, who they're being marketed to, encompassing a wider net of an audience for a singular title. Minecraft is a terrific example of that, of course. All kinds of people play Minecraft, everything from kids to 40-something-year-olds. Although, have I played Minecraft since I turned 40? I'm 45 now. I don't think I've played Minecraft in... Yeah, maybe. It's been a while since I last played it. Streamed it for like 7 years solid. I'm kind of drifting away from the point here, so I will sign off. So, yeah, thankfully I didn't have to sort of take the bat directly to Asmongold's knees on this one like I was originally planning to, which I was a bit nervous about because he's got a very large audience of certain types of people, and whenever you criticize someone who has a parasocial relationship to one of these bigger streamers, you often get, unfortunately, targeted with all kinds of nasty stuff for no good reason because they don't want to listen to you. All they know is you're arguing against something their favorite person said. So hopefully I've sidestepped that a little bit on this one. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Blunty. We'll catch you next time. Thank you as always to the patrons scrolling up above there.